What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks back with our daily Palantir update video, ticker symbol PLTR, where we take a look at how Palantir stock traded today, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Palantir stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me go ahead and hit record over here, and we'll get right into the video. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it, I also made a video over the weekend talking about kind of 6 stocks that I'm looking at. If you're getting a stimulus bill and you're looking to invest that in the stock market, what stocks I would put it in. So I talk about 6 stocks there. 2 of them are Palantir and NEO, which I cover on a pretty regular basis, but there's 4 other stocks that I talk about in there that I have not covered on my channel, so feel free to check that out as well. I think all those companies have great potential, and in that I talk a little bit more about why Palantir is a great pick. I've made videos on Palantir in previous times as well, and that's where I kind of get into the detail of what I like about Palantir longer term. These videos, the daily ones, are more for taking a look at how it traded, what I think it's going to do tomorrow, this week, levels of support and resistance that I'm looking at, and all that stuff. So feel free to check that one out as well. What I do want to cover, though, I covered this in that video as well. But this article talks about Palantir and BlackBerry, both companies that I really like, and what they're doing and how their proprietary technology is doing super well and continuing to grow, and talking about kind of the future state of both of these companies. So Palantir, recently has been, not a company that a lot of people knew, even though they were kind of doing great things 2 years ago too. This past year with their IPO is kind of when they've really come into the public eye, and a lot of people are looking at them, right? And a part of that is the excitement around the company, but a lot of that is also having to do with kind of the way they're growing and adding, a lot of new customers, right? So recently we talked about the Faurecia deal, the 6-year partnership, which is going to be them doing a acceleration of their digital transformation. So that's great news for the company. But if you take a look at recent other deals that they've done, it's Rio Tinto, 3M, which is the N95 mass producer, tapes. They do a bunch of supplies for the world, and a lot of these other companies use the Foundry platform. Combine that with the recent AWS deal, the recent IBM deal, right? Palantir, I think, has a great future. Now let's get into today's price target or price analysis. We'll take a look at future levels of support and resistance. Then we will also take a look at where we could be going in the near future. So right here, what we see is, in the pre-market, we started pushing up to high 27s. And then right out of the gate, we struggled a little bit to hold this 2680s level. As you can see, bounce, push up, bounce again, and then we finally broke below. And then it was the exact opposite, where we struggled to really break above that. As you can see, really this 2680 level, right? 2682 is where we have it, but 2680 really struggled to break above that, right? Hitting up against it, hit up, couldn't quite make it. So not a terrible day for Palantir, right? Small red day, only down 13 cents a share. But at some point we were up after the push up in the pre-market. So not terrible trading action with Palantir. But now let's take a look at future levels of support and resistance. So this, if you've been with me for a while, right, we were catching that breakout. We got that breakout, took us from the mid 20s to the low 30s. Following few days took us to the mid 45s, sold off, and then ran into earnings, and then earnings surprise miss took us down. The lockup expiration took us down, and then the overall market weakness took us from kind of trading in the mid to high 30s to trading as low as $22. Well, technically $20, but 22 was actually like a level that we closed at, rather than going down and recovering. And now we're doing decent, starting to push up again, and kind of capturing some of the EMAs that we had lost. So with that being said, what do we have coming up from future levels of support, future levels of resistance? Well, clearly that 2680s level is our first level of resistance. So that's going to be really important for us to hold once we can get above that, then I think we push for the 28 level. But if we can't push, above that, then we might revisit some of these EMAs that we visited today, which are kind of in the 2643 with the 21 EMA and the 55 EMA at 2645. The next level of support we have is the 8 EMA at 2570, which we kind of found support on Friday. So hoping that, that holds up again if we go down, and then 2539, right? So really pretty close to each other. These EMAs, 2640s, 2570, and then the 2539. What I'm hoping for, you guys, is tomorrow or the next day we're able to break through this 2680 level, make a push towards 28. That kind of be my goal over the next couple of days for Palantir, is taking over this $28 mark. The market was green today. Markets are looking good. The volatility index is actually looking really good as well. We're down to 20 as well, which if you take a look at, the lowest it's been since pretty much the pandemic has started, that's kind of the lowest we've really been. Pre-pandemic, we were lower than that. But 20 has kind of been a little bit of a floor for us since the pandemic. So that's great news. My goal for Palantir, right? You guys know I have my shares that I'm holding on to. I added some last week in the $23 mark, I believe. Got some leaps going out to 2023. Got one leap going out to 2022. So as you could see, pretty bullish on the company. And I'm not one of those channels that says Palantir to 100. I absolutely think Palantir can go to 100 if you hold it for 2 or 3 years. But I know one thing I can tell you that I'm a little bit more certain on is it making it all the way up to kind of this mid to high 30s level, which if you take a look at the box right there, you take a look at the fourth line, plus 41%. So from where it is today, if it makes it to the $38 level, right, we're talking a 41% return on your money. If it goes back to the all-time high of 45, you're talking a 63% on your money. Now, I'm not drawing this line to say, I think it's gonna go straight from here to 45, right? Do not buy it and go, hey, Gilman told me to buy it, so I'm gonna buy it and expect it to go to 40s, right? What I'm more saying is I'm gonna scroll out, go all the way to the end of 2021 right here, and what I'm saying is I'm actually going to call it 40, right, which is about a 47% return. So if it goes to $40 sometime in 2021, you are going to make $40 on your money. And I'm not expecting it to be a straight line up. It could be this, right? Guys, we could be back in a couple months. We could be back up there in a month. Look at how steeply we fell. We could come back up that month. I'm gonna be super conservative though, take it all the way down to December 2021. And that's the line I'm drawing. Now, this line does not have to be a straight line up. It could be up, below this line, up, below this line, up, below this line, up, below this line, as long as at some point I get to my goal of kind of high 30s, $40. That's a 40% return on your money. And I'm not even mentioning if you sell covered calls against your shares or leaps. I'm not talking about any of that, right? I'm not including that. I'm only talking about your shares or your calls, whatever it is that you are invested in. One thing I will like to say though, this past few weeks, I know that the market fell a lot. So that's a reminder for you guys to, make sure you're not just going crazy on margin, because that can definitely kill you when the market goes down. The other thing is make sure that if you're buying, options, that you got time on your side, right? So the reason I talk about leap calls on Palantir is because I'm long-term bullish on Palantir. I don't care what it does necessarily as much. I do, right? Because I'm making these videos. I'd like to see what it does tomorrow, the day after. But for my investment purpose, I don't care what Palantir does. I just know it's going to do really well. If I buy it now to end of 2021, what I'm hoping for is that 40-45% return. Whether it goes to negative 10-15% first, I don't know. It totally could, right? The market could take a switch on us, which is exactly why I'm buying time on my options, right? And that's one thing that I like to share with you guys, because I know a lot of people just buy calls that are a week or 2 or 3 weeks out, right? And at that point, you're counting on the stock to continue moving up as fast as you need it to for you to make out profitable. So that's just something to consider, guys. Maybe taking a different approach on your options plays. I know a lot of people have asked me, hey, I'm down this much on this trade. Do you think it's salvageable? And I was there too, and I would take similar trades as well. But now what I do is, look, even if I think something is gonna go up, I don't know, no one knows for sure when something's gonna go up, but what you could do is you could buy yourself a little more time, which yes, costs money, but a lot of the times you feel a little bit at peace, right? So going back to a couple weeks ago when the market was tanking, my options contracts were out in May, June, July, May being a couple, most being July and outward. So I knew I had time for the market to recover, right? I'm still recovering from that loss, right? But I knew I had the time, so I wasn't panicking. But if I had something, that was expiring this week or previous week or the week before, that's, totally going to zero. So just food for thought there. Again, do what you understand, do what you, kind of want with your money, right? It's your money, your decision, but that's just something I wanted to throw out there. So that's all I had for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.